Ravens go to the Cowboys. Ravens are 0-2. And it's really tough scenes because they were honestly one of the better projections to win the AFC outright this year. They were up there with the Chiefs and the Bengals. We need to see some action out of this offense soon, or I'm beginning to lose my hope. And the reason that I say that is their offensive line is proving to be so bad that we almost have to put the Ravens in a different light, offensively speaking. So there's some concerns about this Ravens offense, specifically their offensive line. They're really just kind of, it's going to be a struggle. So I'm curious to see if they change the game plan or change the playbook up a little bit. But the Ravens travel to the Cowboys. Cowboys are going to be, it's a tough week for the Cowboys this week, getting shredded like that at home. That was their first home loss in 16 games, home games against the Saints, and that being the one, the regular season, might I add. Let's not forget the Packers and what they did to the Cowboys. But nonetheless, both teams, they're coming into this game beat up, mentally, emotionally, physically. They're beat down, and so I think both of these teams are going to be uber motivated to come in here and to win this game. Cowboys are 1-point home underdogs. Crazy enough. That happens few and far in between. This game is totaled pretty high, 49. I don't really do totals. That's not my specialty. But if I had to guess, I guess this game goes under, to be totally honest. I think both teams, specifically the Ravens, they run a much, much slower paced type of game on the offensive side of the ball. I expect them to try and control the clock in the run game as well with Derrick Henry, more so than what they've done even in the past, which I definitely disagree with. I think they need to get Lamar in the passing game going, but I'm not paid the big bucks to be an NFL coach, so whatever. Anyways, Beach, Ravens travel to AT&T Stadium to play the Cowboys. The model has Ravens as a 3-point road favorite. Low yard per play projections for both teams, right around 4.6. What do you think for this game? What do you anticipate happening? Are you picking? What's your gut feeling? Let me know.
We talked about it in the recap show about I talked about how the way that the Ravens, what they need to do is let Lamar create. That's the only way they're going to be able to do this with their offensive line being so bad. And if they do that, they can win this game perfectly fine. But I've got to go with what I've seen so far in the season. And this offensive line is so bad, and the Cowboys have a really good defensive line, and they're home underdogs. And I can't look at it from what I was looking at before the season started. I've got to look at what I've been seeing, and I think the Cowboys win this game at home. And the Ravens start 0-3. Like I just can't ignore what the Ravens have. Their guys on the O-line. I can't ignore it.
Yep. And I hate disagreeing with the model because the model went 10-6 this week against the spread if you just bet it blindly. But this is one of the cases where I'm going to do that because I still think there's not enough being accounted for the poor offensive line play on the Ravens side of the ball. And they're going to have to change a little bit of their game style comparatively to how they ran in the past couple years. I think that the Cowboys, their biggest weakness is their defensive secondary, and we saw them get shredded with by the Saints last week, and that definitely came about. But the Ravens don't have a guy other than Zay Flowers who's going to do that same thing. I don't think they can hold a pocket long enough to allow guys to get open down deep like that. And my other concern is the best part of this Cowboys defense is their front line, led by Micah Parsons. Add that to the fact that the Ravens offensive line is ranked 30th overall now so far. They're just going to get after Lamar, and the game is going to it's going to hinge on the fact of, can Lamar do enough? Can he be special enough to avoid, taking hits, taking sacks, getting the ball out in time before he gets pressured? And I'm not too confident, based on what I saw last week, that's going to happen. And so, I agree, Beej. Disagreeing with the model, agreeing with you. Give me the Cowboys to win outright at home. I think that Cowboys rally back. It's going to be a good one. I think it's going to be a lower scoring game than what Vegas and a lot of people anticipate, but I like the Cowboys. I don't like the Cowboys, but I like them to win at home. this week. Betting splits really quick. 38% of the tickets are on the Cowboys, but 54% of the money is on the Cowboys. 16% differential there between the tickets and the money favoring the Cowboys. For those of you who like that kind of stats, it's gonna be a fun one.